The Clagett name has long been associated with sailing in Newport. In 1980, Tom Clagett created the Leiter Trophy in memory of his wife Nancy, an avid sailor, for the U.S. Junior Women's Single-Handed Champion. In 1995, he commissioned the Ida Lewis Trophy for the double-handed version. The C. Thomas Clagett Trust has supported these women's events and clinics ever since. Years later, it was not surprising when Robbie Pierce asked Stephanie McLennan if there was a possibility to do the same thing for disabled sailors. The very next summer, the C. Thomas Clagett Jr. Memorial Clinic and Regatta was launched.
And we set up a meeting when Mom was still here. A year later, we were underneath the tent down at in front of the dock office of Sail Newport, and we started Clagett with 5 boats.
And it just grew from there over the years. Today, 20 years later, if I could sit here and say that I actually looked in a crystal ball, I would never have guessed what we've been able to accomplish. And it's all because of our wonderful sponsors, our volunteers, our world-class race management and coaches, and the investment that all of them have been able to feel to be part of the Clagett story. It's just wonderful.
In those 20 years, the C. Thomas Clagett Jr. Memorial Clinic and Regatta has brought sailing to the forefront of the disabled community with a world-class event that offers coaching and sailing to any physically disabled person, and has also helped produce many Paralympic competitors and champions along the way with an all-star class of dedicated coaches, race management, and volunteers.
And then tomorrow, I'll make sure we touch anything that's not obvious. If you have any questions for me, I'm your coach the whole regatta, so I don't stop coaching, and same with Brian. You can ask me questions before we go to the water, on the water. Dave, if you watch me go upwind, between races, Dave, what did I do wrong or what did I do right? Same with Brian, we're with you all the way to the end. So the coaching doesn't stop just because the clinic happens.
I've been working with the Clagett sailors for probably 6 or 7 years, and I think that I'm always impressed. In fact, probably yesterday, when it was blowing that hard, was perhaps the most impressive day that I've seen of all the events. I mean, you know, there were a lot of boats that were sailing extremely competitively around the course. And, you know, when you go to the Paralympic Games, I was at the Rio Paralympics, you know that you have to be able to sail when it's windy, when it's wavy, and that's what it was like yesterday. And so, you know, that was good, what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, and I agree, and also say that we do 2 days of clinic before this begins, and these athletes are so focused, and they're asking the right questions, and they want to get better, and they're on the right path. And I couldn't imagine them getting there without this program. And the spirit of the Clagett is helpfulness, cooperation. That's the learning. Then they go out there and race, but then we come in and debrief. We go for an hour after sailing. They've been out there for hours, and for an hour we talk about what happened, and they share, and then eventually the better ones end up winning. But winning is really just doing your best and learning. That's what winning really is, and that happens all the time.
The cool thing about this event is it's not just a regatta. You know, it's not just a race. We know that from growing up sailing that the exciting or the rewarding part of sailing is learning and getting better and being able to make progress. And that's one of the unique or cool focuses about the Clagett events, is that it's not just racing and winning, it's learning. And that's what the whole thing is about. Very open to sharing and learning, and you know, if people want to go beyond this event, you know, this is certainly a great place to be learning with a lot of other like-minded people.
It's been fascinating over the last 20 years to see the evolving Clagett, what it has become, where initially we were this very small regatta, a handful of people, And now we're up to this point now, 20 years later, we have Olympic coaches here. We have 12-meter tacticians here. We're at a stage now where you can't now say, well, can we get someone like really qualified to coach? Because they're here, they're there now. We have the most qualified coaches that there are. And not even like disabled qualified coaches, world-class coaches.
This is obviously a very well-run machine. Tons of volunteer support is just incredible to have on the dock and up top. The clinic has been incredible with coaches helping everybody out in all the classes. It's been really, really cool seeing how the regatta supports the sailors in just so many different ways.
The day was light at the start, and then it finished very windy. It was very, very wet. It was very fun, and the racing was really tight, which is always exciting. 1 minute you're in first, next minute you're in 10th, so it's a rush.
And it's been really impressive to see how the event runs. I've been out in the water on a coach boat today. I think it's been great seeing the coaching that's provided to the sailors on the water. I think the racing's fantastic. It's really close, a really high level, and I just think it's great seeing the 2.4s and the Martins on the water like this, getting some excellent racing on the bay.
So I had a spinal cord injury when I was 16, and I haven't really sailed since, and I've been trying to pick it up since then, and I saw the 2.4s and I thought they'd be perfect for my abilities now, and so I came to Clagett to try it out, and I can definitely sail it, and it's been the first time in 22 years that I've been out racing in a regatta.
You know, everyone's just here to learn from one another and become better sailors, you know, and grow as people too.
Today, the organization has matured into Clagett Sailing with multiple programs, from boat grants, Team Clagett, and the Dave's Masterclass to 2 world-class events, the C. Thomas Clagett Jr. Memorial Clinic and Regatta, Clagett Newport, and the Clagett Oak Cliff Match Race.
It's an honor for me to be racing on a 2.4 that Clagett select me as a grant in the grant program, so I can have fun and be here at the regatta every year. One of the best regattas ever.
I'm very excited for them to announce the first ever Team Clagett tomorrow. I feel pretty good about my chances. I think I've sailed really well this year. It's the best that I've ever done at this regatta. You know, we're closing those gaps. Everyone's racing is getting tighter and tighter, and I'm hopeful that I'll be on the team.
Team Clagett, yes, I'd love to make Team Clagett, and I'm gonna do my best. Okay, we'll see how I finish tomorrow, and I think I've got a shot.
My chances for getting into the Clagett team for the World Sailing in Tampa this year, I think they're pretty good, maybe 80%. I think I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be on the team.
Of course, none of this would be possible without the generous support of Clagett Sailing sponsors.
The AIG has been involved with Clagett for 11 years at this point in time. We're very proud to be one of the sponsors of Clagett.
I personally have been involved with the Clagett organization for, I think, the entire 20 years for the most part of at least the original regatta. Fiduciary Trust, which I represent, has been involved probably 10 to 12 of those years out of the 20. And we've just seen it evolve immensely over the last 20 years.
What does the future hold? The mission is to keep raising the bar for Clagett Sailing, attract more sailors to participate in the Clagett regattas, and ultimately to get sailing back into the Paralympics.
I think it's really important to have events like Clagett to build the level of sailors, to encourage international competition and demonstrate that, you know, we're a serious para sport.
I'm not sure I have the right words for how far we've come and for what we have been doing for disabled sailing in this country and across the world.